Hey, it's your boy, Sergeant Hook Dimensions. So today we are reviewing episode 31 now, I think, of Kamen Revice. I will say, before I give it a score, I just want to say first that this episode was a lot better than the first part. I didn't hate part one, but with it being a two-part thing, you don't really get the full scope of the plot and like how they're going to resolve it till this episode comes out. Yeah, also clearly, as I talked about before, the Henshin hub behind me. The shelf up there with the rider stuff, but you guys have seen that, but I'll just, here you go. See, all this rider stuff. Anyway. This week's episode was pretty good. We jump off of last episode, and it's Icky stuck within his own head. They bring him back to the bathhouse, and they have him kind of tied up, basically. And he's in his own head going through his memories. Come to find out, a power of this Rafflesia dead man monster is to basically, like I thought, make people like fall into their own memories and have to live through them and stuff like that. It has like a psychological effect. That's what he's doing. And so we get the backstory of him and Juko, I think it's Juko, his friend, and what the promise was. We eventually found out the promise was that during a practice, he accidentally got Jiko injured really badly. He like hurt his leg or something like that. He didn't mean to. It was completely accidental. And so, but of course, being the altruistic good person Icky is, he blames himself entirely for what happened. And they both wanted to be able to become professional soccer players. Well, it shows Jiko in his bed, in his hospital bed, and he tells him, you know, it's okay. I know it was an accident. I'm not mad at you. Yeah, it hurt. Yeah, it sucks. But you know what? How about this? The doctor said I probably won't be able to play again, but why don't you carry on our dream? Carry on the dream of being a professional. Carry my dream along with you. You become a professional in my stead. And of course, Icky, being, again, like I said, the good person, good, kind-hearted person he is, and wanting to help people, says, of course I will. I'll do this, blah, blah, blah. And we get a really nice scene where he goes out of the room, and he's on one side of the wall, completely bawling his eyes out, you know, over what happened. And his friend on the other side is also kind of like losing it because of, you know, clearly falling apart because of what happened to him and all his dreams being crushed, sort of. So that's what the promise was. And Icky is talking to Vice about it. He's like, I don't know how this happened. He's like, does it maybe connected to our contract? Is that possible? And Vice kind of mentions that, yeah, it could be. And we get some more details later. So what's going on? John goes in, Sakura to go fight the Rafflesia monster. She gets hit by the mist, and it messes up. She tries to use the peacock bottle, and it messes up Lovekov, and she's all over the place and falling on top of her. And even John gets hit by it, and she tries to go attack what she thinks is the monster, and she runs toward the wall. Like, I saw a meme today when your controller's disconnected. It's like running against the wall, and she's like, you know, Desert tries to do her special attack. Daiji gets involved too, so they're trying to hold the monster off while Icky recovers. Eventually, he has a good back and forth with a version of Jiko within his head, who basically tells him that, you know, sure, that was at that point what I wanted, but I can see now that you're a Kamen Rider and that's what you're doing, and you don't have to carry that weight with you. You don't have to carry that weight of that mistake with you. And I think that's really cool, a really interesting way to do it. I thought he was just going to reiterate, like, you better keep being a soccer player, blah, blah, blah. And he's like, but this seems to be your new dream, so go for it. You know, become the best Kamen Rider you can be. And so, that brings him out of his head. He talks to Subaru, of course, and we find out, just like I thought, Subaru is the one that created the monster. He saw what happened between the two of them, that he didn't remember the promise, and that Jiko was really hurt by it, and somehow, some way, was given the Vice stamp for it. We don't know who gave it to him, who's producing these anymore, or what, but he used it thinking, knowing, being told by whoever that that's what the monster does, letting you get back in your memories, meaning it would help make you remember, and wanted it to help him, and kept like covering up for it basically until it started getting more violent, more out of control, where it's at now, where it's like nearly a phase 2. Pretty quickly, actually, evolved into a phase 2. And so he's the reason everything happened. And Icky said, you know, well, you will have to turn yourself in. I do thank you for, you know, giving me the opportunity to, you know, walk back through my memories and figure out what I forgot. But, you know, you will be taken into custody by Phoenix. Like, you put people in danger. And he's like, I know. I knew eventually the jig was up. And so he actually, as Icky's leaving to go take care of the Rafflesia dead man, he actually calls the place where he's about to record that day, because if you remember, Jiko also is becoming a voice actor, but not as clearly as big. He hasn't had big break yet like Subaru has. So Subaru actually calls his producer and says, hey, I'm not going to be able to make it in. I got a couple things that came up, but I got somebody else I want to sub in for me. He's really great. He's going to take over that role for me. So he tells Jiko, hey, you go to this place. You're gonna get this role. This is your shot. And she was like totally taken aback by it. And him and Ikki get a little back and forth where they apologize to each other, and they're good. So again, it ended decent. It was just kind of interesting how it started, I guess. Confusing. And so Ikki, of course, transforms into Thunder Gale, and fights the Rafflesia monster, right? Ends up being able to defeat it with help from Daiji. They actually have a really cool dual fight here where they actually activate, like, he scans the holy live Vice stamp. Like, they go like past each other and activate both their like gimmick items to do their special attacks with. It was pretty cool. Pretty nice synchronized fight there. So they fight together. They end up beating the Rafflesia Dead Man, destroying it, of course. Subaru gets taken into custody. We also get a scene with Akaishi talking to Vale, and the one scientist lady sees that and is like taken aback by it. So I wonder if she's maybe not evil and just like to throw you off, like a red herring thing. Anyway, so she sees him talking to Vale about, we got to get these plans together and blah, 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 and whatever, evil stuff. Not a whole lot was really said. So she clearly saw that and is not, and to her, she just sees him talking to nobody, which is weird. But I guess it makes sense. I mean, but what's weird is Vale's not his demons. I don't know how he can see them unless if you have Gifu DNA in you, then you're able to or something. I don't know. But we get the final revelation, going back to the Vice and Ikki thing. He mentioned that it possibly had something to do with the contract. He mentioned to him that as a kid, he told him, okay, if we make a contract, I'll use my power to protect you. But if if we do this, there's a possibility you're going to lose your memory. But I'll keep you safe and keep your family safe. And so that's what's happening. Basically, every time they transform together and he uses Vice's power at all, he is losing bits of himself, and that's where his memories are going away. And eventually he'll lose his memories of family altogether. So it's really kind of a shocking thing, and kind of something I thought was going to happen. I may have mentioned in my last review that it was a possibility. But really interesting that that's the direction they're going and how they're going to fix it with the final form upgrade or whatever. I'm sure there'll be some way to fix it. It could be something where they make it really emotional and they final form is just for Revi and Vice doesn't get something or whatever, or they have to eventually break their contract and not be with each other. But really interesting, he revealed that to him, that, that's what's been happening. I didn't really know how to tell you, and, I'm not really sure what we can do about it. So I'm sure, like I said, I'm sure George will get involved. George Karzaki will get involved. And eventually when he makes the final form upgrade thing, it'll be something that will fix that problem somehow. But I really like that. On top of the whole threat of Gifu and Vale and everything else, there's this internal threat going on as well. We'll also get a fun scene where George... when Daiji goes to leave to go fight the Rafflesia Dead Man, George is at the Karazaki's at Phoenix headquarters, and he's about to go, and he's about to go, like, he looks at the driver, and he's like, the demon's driver, and thinks back to his fight, and he goes, no, and he kind of holds himself back. So I wonder if they're going to push more for George to be demons now, instead of eventually Hiromi coming back. Maybe he will. Maybe I'm wrong. Hiromi will come back. They'll make him over demons, whatever. I don't know. I really hope it's not Akaishi. I really don't like him as a villain. I think he's very... mustache twirling, goofy, stupid in the way that he does things, and just isn't a threat to me other than being part of the bad guys and no one knows about it. So I'm hoping either George gets the time to shine, or my number one thing would be if Hiromi gets it. So overall, a really decent episode. I probably would rate this one higher. I probably rate this one probably closer to like probably like an 8.5-ish out of 10. Definitely a lot better than the first episode because it ended the plot thing. Plus we get a lot of really good parts, little scenes in between of the backstory between Jiko, Subaru, and Ikki, and also really good scenes with most of the other characters as well, dealing with the certain plot lines that are going on. And especially the stuff with Ikki and Vice. That's like my favorite stuff right now. When it's an Ikki and Vice scene, I'm like glued to the screen as I'm watching. But yeah, so probably a strong 8.5 out of 10. Again, higher than the last episode, but not a perfect episode, but still a really good one. And again, they're moving forward towards what's going to be happening soon. So as far as like the final arc and things like that with Gifu and all of that. So let me know in the comments below, what did you guys think about today's episode? Did you like what happened today? Did you feel better about the whole inclusion of Subaru in it when it was revealed more of like the plot and what he had to do with it? Did you like how it ended? The Ikki and Vice revelation about him losing his memory because he's using Vice's power and how they're going to fix that. What are your thoughts too? Let me know in the comments also. What are the thoughts that you guys have of your own theory of what's going to happen? Are they going to separate? Are they going to not separate? Is George going to find a way to fix it with the final form upgrade? Who knows? But let me know. Thank you so much for watching, for sharing, commenting. all that good stuff. I really, 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 really liking the videos. Really appreciate it. We're doing pretty well in our views and our videos, at least in my opinion. Again, it's something I do in my free time. It's not something I put a lot of like sweat, blood, and tears into, but definitely something I put some kind of modicum of effort into. And it's a nice way, again, like I said, to kind of empty my brain of all these toku things I talk about so I don't bore the hell out of my wife and other people that don't watch the shows. But thank you guys so much for watching today. Again, I'll be doing a review this week, clearly, of Down Brothers episode 7 pretty soon. And also, hopefully, some more Toku Toy View stuff if I can. But as always, stay hooked on Henshins. I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.